Number 1. Trump hunts down illegal immigrants. In a move that sent shockwaves through immigrant communities, President Trump launched a massive multi-agency operation in Chicago, marking a new era in immigration enforcement. This unprecedented blitz, kicking off on January 26, 2025, saw ICE joining forces with a host of federal agencies, including the FBI, ATF, and the Marshal Service. The operation's scope was staggering. ICE agents, now backed by an army of federal law enforcement, swept through the Windy City with a clear mission: to apprehend and deport undocumented immigrants. This wasn't just about numbers. It was a statement of intent, a flexing of federal muscle in a city known for its sanctuary policies. Trump's administration didn't stop at just mobilizing forces. They rewrote the rulebook. Acting Secretary of Homeland Security Benjamin Huffman granted immigration enforcement powers to Justice Department personnel, effectively turning every federal agent into a potential immigration officer. This move exponentially increased the manpower available for immigration enforcement. The administration's aggressive stance extended beyond the streets and into policy. They revoked guidelines that had previously protected sensitive locations like schools and hospitals from immigration enforcement activities. Trump is making sure these criminals have nowhere to hide. The immigration enforcement blitz in Chicago marked a turning point in America's immigration policy. It showcased the Trump administration's willingness to use unprecedented measures to achieve its goals, regardless of local opposition. Number 2. Trump brings Colombia to its knees. President Trump's hardline stance on immigration took an unexpected turn when he launched a trade war with Colombia, a long-standing ally of the United States. The catalyst for this international showdown? Colombia's refusal to accept deportation flights carrying Colombian migrants. The dispute ignited when two military C-17 planes, each carrying approximately 80 Colombian migrants, were denied permission to land in Colombia. Colombian President Gustavo Petro, known for his left-leaning policies, abruptly rescinded all diplomatic permissions for U.S. military and immigration and customs enforcement aircraft. Petro accused Trump of cruelty. Trump's response was swift and severe. In a move that sent shockwaves through international markets, he imposed immediate 25% tariffs on all Colombian imports. But that wasn't all. Trump threatened to escalate these tariffs to a staggering 50% within a week if Colombia didn't back down. Trump didn't stop at tariffs. He wielded the full power of his office, announcing travel bans and visa revocations for Colombian officials and their allies. This move effectively cut off Colombian leadership from direct diplomatic channels with the United States, escalating tensions further. President Petro, realizing he was out of his depth, capitulated to Trump, even offering a presidential plane to assist with the deportations. The message was clear: get in line or President Trump will get you out of the way. Number 3. Ironclad border defense. President Trump's commitment to fortifying the southern border reached new heights with a comprehensive border defense overhaul. This sweeping initiative began with a dramatic declaration of a national emergency at the United States border, a move that allowed Trump to bypass congressional approval and redirect funds for his border security vision. The cornerstone of this overhaul was the resumption and acceleration of border wall construction. Trump's administration pushed forward with ambitious plans to extend physical barriers along vast stretches of the southern border. This wasn't just about adding more miles of wall. It involved upgrading existing structures with cutting-edge technology, including sensors, cameras, and advanced surveillance systems. In a move that raised eyebrows and tensions, Trump deployed military forces to support border security operations. This unprecedented use of active-duty troops for domestic border enforcement blurred the lines between military and civilian roles. Soldiers found themselves assisting Border Patrol agents, setting up barricades, and even directly engaging with migrants in some cases. Trump's border defense overhaul also included a crackdown on so-called sanctuary cities. The administration threatened to withhold federal funding from jurisdictions that refused to cooperate with ICE, putting pressure on local governments to align with federal immigration enforcement efforts. The president didn't shy away from controversial measures. He proposed changes to birthright citizenship, challenging the long-standing interpretation of the 14th Amendment. While legal experts debated the constitutionality of such a move, it signaled Trump's willingness to push the boundaries of executive power in pursuit of his immigration goals. Number 4. Asylum and refugee restrictions. President Trump's administration took unprecedented steps to overhaul the U.S. asylum and refugee system, implementing a series of measures that fundamentally altered the landscape for those seeking protection in America. In a move that sent shockwaves through humanitarian circles, Trump suspended the entire refugee system, bringing the admission of refugees to a grinding halt. This decision, justified as a necessary step to protect national security and conserve resources for domestic priorities, effectively closed America's doors. Simultaneously, the administration cut off access to the Migrant Entry app, a digital tool that had been used to manage asylum applications at the southern border. This abrupt shutdown left thousands of asylum seekers in limbo. The administration also implemented stricter ideological screening for immigrants and asylum seekers. This enhanced vetting process, dubbed extreme vetting by Trump, included more rigorous background checks, social media scrutiny, and ideological questionnaires. Critics argued that this approach amounted to a de facto Muslim ban and discriminated against individuals based on their religious or political beliefs. The only values and beliefs that President Trump cares about are American ones. Trump's policies extended beyond the southern border. The administration slashed the annual refugee admission cap to historic lows, dropping it from 110,000 in the final year of the Obama administration to just 15,000 in fiscal year 2021. This dramatic reduction reshaped America's role in global refugee resettlement efforts. Number 5. The Gulf of America. In a controversial move, President Donald Trump signed an executive order on January 24, 2025, directing the Secretary of the Interior to adopt the name Gulf of America for an area of the continental shelf in the Gulf of Mexico. This decision, which applies to federal agencies, has sparked debate. The renaming affects the area extending to the seaward boundary with Mexico and Cuba, effectively changing the name of a significant portion of what has been known as the Gulf of Mexico for centuries. This action is part of Trump's broader America First approach and has been met with mixed reactions. Critics argue that this unilateral renaming disregards the Gulf's shared nature among multiple countries, including Mexico and Cuba. Environmental groups are particularly concerned as they fear this move might overshadow pressing issues facing the Gulf, such as pollution, climate change impacts, and the need for ecosystem restoration. The Gulf, regardless of its name, faces significant environmental challenges. These include chronic loss of critical wetland habitats, erosion of barrier islands, imperiled fisheries, water quality degradation, and impacts from invasive species. The region is also vulnerable to hurricanes and flooding, with many communities along the industrialized Gulf Coast considered among the most climate vulnerable in the United States. As this renaming takes effect, it remains to be seen how it will impact international relations, environmental policies, and the ongoing efforts to address the Gulf's ecological challenges. But one thing is for sure, there will be no doubt about who has the power in the region.